Welcome to another beautiful, magical day. I wanted to get this message to you alls, and I feel urgency in my spirit to make sure that I get this message to you. And what this message is about is too many people are not taking the current crisis serious at all. People are very nonchalant to the fact that we really are in a famine. It's interesting because what the Spirit of the Lord has been showing me is that people are so used to the government falling back on it, from the governmental systems to the food banks to FEMA camps that come in anytime there's a disaster. Like, for example, they will set up disaster camps or warming tent camps, just like they did in Texas when it hit negative, days of cold, and they turned off all the power. And it's not that, let's just put it like this, no one had a way to heat themselves. And because they were hungry and cold for several days, they went down to the heating system, to the tent system, to the stadiums. And this is exactly what your governmental systems and gods have in play for many of you who are not taking this pandemic serious. I feel like it's been happening so long that people have just become numb to it. Numb to it to the fact to where in the Bible it talks about how people will just have this attitude nonchalant, like, well, we're just gonna die anyways. Let's continue to party and let's continue to drink and be merry. And the Bible also says that the angels were told not to touch the oil and the wine. So when the angels were told not to touch the oil and the wine, as you can look up now, you can see that the store, the liquor stores are always open, as well as the bars are always open, and you never hear about any type of mandates in any of these places. It's the only place on earth that is exempt from mandates. It's interesting because what the Spirit of the Lord was also showing me is that too many of you are on crutches. Too many of you are getting sloppy drunk, and then you drink until you pass out. And then another group of you, from what I was being shown, you're taking pills to either fall asleep or to numb your bodies. This is a warning for you because I don't know if y'all realize that this or not, but we're at the brink of war, and I it's about, actually it's 3 minutes 7 a.m., which will be about 3 minutes to 2 p.m. Russian time. And Putin is getting ready to make an emergency announcement to all of the people of Russia. And he made this announcement at 11 o'clock last night that it was a very urgent message that he had to make to all people of Russia. And what the Spirit of the Lord was showing me is that not only are we on the brink of war, but a lot of y'all are going to be in for a very rude awakening, because in my visions, as I was channeling into these times, I saw where there were soldiers that were not only coming down the street, but coming into the homes of me. I saw earth shattering events, earth shaking events, to where children were, or people, or whoever lived in the house with you was trying to wake you up, but you were too passed out, or too drunk, or too high, or too much on your drug to even realize what was going on. And I feel that this is a warning for many of you, because a lot of you, actually all of you, are God's people, but a lot of you, God has found favor on your life, because even at this crack of dawn, He still finds the need to let you know that you're in danger, you're in trouble. Many of you, he has given warnings after warnings to prepare, but not only do you not stock up, but you don't prepare. Many of you have the attitude of, well, I don't have enough money anyways. I'll just, go ahead and get the shot, or I'll just go ahead and go down to the government lines or go down to the stadiums. But what the Spirit of the Lord was showing me is that the stadiums will start there at first. They will be there at then we have Antarctica weather that's coming in. And I would love to say it's just for one specific area or one specific state, but I saw the entire world in an Antarctica state. And when I was taken up into Antarctica, which is interesting, I was a crystalline being appeared before me. And when this crystalline being appeared before me, the crystalline being was like a leprechaun that was between us, that was interpreting the language of this crystalline being, which is like a tall, huge angelic being because it was about 26 feet tall minimum. And her dress was just so beautiful. It was like shaped like a pyramid. It was all ice. And the area that was all around us was ice and snow and hills and mountains of snow everywhere. But there is this one portal, this hole that she came out of to give the message to the leprechaun to give to me. And I began to ask her questions about the time and she was sharing with me, sharing with the leprechaun to tell me because the leprechaun would have to translate the languages between the angelic being and myself. And she was saying that the entire world is in trouble, but America is in trouble even more. And recently, went on a series of 40-day fasts. I went on a series of 21-day water fast, things of that nature. And during this time, coming out of it, that's when God opened up my eyes, began to show me different things that are transpiring on the lands in my area. It's all over. What I'm getting distinctly, instinctly in my spirit is that this is not just for America, but this is also outside of America as well. I'm being shown that the land itself is reshaping itself. I'm being shown that the earth itself is getting ready to crack wide open. I'm also being shown that the waters are disappearing. And anyone that I ask about it, only one person that I've asked over a series of people has recognized it. And it's not just one area, it's not just rivers, it's the lakes, it's the ponds, it's the streams. They're all drying up and they're drying up at a very high speed pace. Now, every time I look at the waters, God also shows me the trees. And the trees, guys, that in the middle of the trees, there was so much water and so much life in between the trees. So the trees are also drying up. I have a wood stove, and over the past at least couple of months, the wood has even changed the way that the wood burns. What I saw in my vision was the land is going to be completely frozen. And with the land being completely frozen, many people are going to be very much hungry throughout this incoming famine. But what I was being shown is that children are going to suffer the most. Parents are going to need to barter and to trade and to buy alcohol. And when they buy alcohol, there will be no food in the house. I saw drugs, tables of drugs in the house. I saw parties all over the house. I saw no food, but massive bottles of alcohol in my vision all over the house. And I saw children starving. I saw children starving so much that the children would just go and take a drink of the E&J or the, Bacardi 151 or the Hennessy. The children just to curb their hunger, appetite pains in their stomach. From this, I saw the children were having to start to sell their bodies for something to eat, which is nothing. It was like a handful of raisins, what I was being shown in my vision. I'm also being shown that people are not preparing at all. They're hearing the announcements, but they're not preparing. If you're preparing, keep it to yourself because those who think that nothing's going to happen at all, they live as if nothing's going to happen at all. They're not even worried about preparing. They haven't even attempted whatsoever to even do anything remotely on preparing. While you're preparing, they're taking vacations, they're going to nightclubs, with their friends, they're hanging out at gatherings. They're more into this. Yesterday, when I was in my prayer, where there's an Indian folklore tale about December 25th and how every year on December 25th, there would be the sun god. The natives would watch the star rotate or come into the sky close to the sun at a certain time. But then if the sun rose December 25th at a certain time, then they would know that they had another 365 days of sun. What I was being shown in my spirit, that old Indian folklore, the old Indian tale where the natives for the sun every year in December, they knew in the Hopi prophecy that there would come a December 25th where there would be no sun. The sun wouldn't rise and there would be great, let's just say, havoc coming year. So, what I was seeing in my vision is that December 25th, there will be no sun that will rise. There will be no sun that will rotate around Earth's equator for the next 365 days. I was shown that to the year 2022 is going to be a definite year where we are for sure going into WAR if it has not already transpired by then. Many people not only have no clue what's going on, but an announcement on the news right now, then people would quickly not only panic buy, but they would quickly be trying to fill up their water jugs as fast as they can. They'll be quickly trying to fill up their bathtubs as fast as they can. But people aren't, they're not paying attention. They're still wasteful. If you've noticed, you yourself, you've probably gotten thirsty lately. Like you feel like you're extremely dehydrated. I don't know what exactly it is, but there's something that is happening. And in my meditated state, I've related it to that this is not coming from the governmental system. This is coming from God Himself. God is allowing the Earth's core, the Earth's atmosphere to open up, to suck air out of the Earth, as well as the trees. The trees are what give us oxygen. But if you look around you, you will notice that even your local trees in your backyard are becoming very lifeless. Just look at them. Not only are they becoming, there's this white type of foam or spray that's slowly settling in on them. The branches are breaking from top of the bark to the middle of the bark, and the trees are breaking in half, literally. The trees that are by the waters are not only breaking off and falling into the waters, but something in the waters is causing the trees to be consumed like quicksand. This event that is upon us right now is something a lot of people aren't talking about because God warns his people first. He was giving me the warning to warn his people about what's coming. He began to show me like prosperous times for his remnant, prosperous times for his chosen. It's like chaos was happening all in the world. People weren't even paying attention. People were eating more, they were drinking more. They didn't even see the storm that literally is right up on us. And any second now to see people doing mass lootings, there's going to be no type control on the streets because you will see the police officers, they will walk away from their jobs to protect their families. The military, they're already in place, they're already in training, do what they can do while they can do it. But your governmental systems and the one that control many of you, they're aware of the times that we're in. They're aware of the earth and Arctic events that are upon us. So this has a lot to do as well with them knowing that American soldiers in America are not going to reign rush hour over American people. They're going to see what is happening to America, and then they're going to go to protect their families and protect their homes, only to be faced with Russian and British and Chinese soldiers. And these soldiers do not speak, many of them do not speak any lick of English whatsoever. Every single soldier that will be scouring the land has been taught since a little child in their school books, in their countries, to absolutely hate America. They've been taught to hate America because they were told that when they didn't have water, when they didn't have food, when they didn't have clothes, they were shown television movies and television shows of Americans eating food at restaurants, arguing with their date, and leaving entire plates and trays of foods at the table. We're all guilty of disrespecting nature, disrespecting food, throwing massive amounts of food away, wasting massive amounts of food that we will have to pay for in this hour. Most importantly, as I stated in previous videos, the children and the seniors are to the point where very soon the children and the seniors will be obsolete in our timeline. There is an event that is coming up where I do see in my vision something is happening to the children, but it's the children literally vanish. And this has nothing to do with the government. I was looking in the Bible itself to see if there's some type of pre tribulation specifically for the children only. There are many of the remnant, there are many of the chosen who will be left here. They will be left here because they volunteered to come and here to be here during this time to help with relation rapture, with the rapture, with the battle of Armageddon, with the times that we are in. So I wanted to chime in because it has me to, first of all, have y'all drink as much water right now as you can to hydrate your body. Also, to make sure you do everything in your power to eat as many fresh fruits and vegetables as you possibly can. The way that you'll know that it's real fruit is if it has the seed inside of it, not because the sign in the store says GMO or non GMO. The way you will know if something is GMO or non GMO, if it does not have the seed inside of it, it's genetically modified. So, whoever you are out there, if you are doing anything to help you sleep at night, if you're doing anything to alter your sleep at night, there's going to come a time for many of you who did not take heed to my warnings where you will be awakened abruptly. And what I was seeing in my awakening is that there's two different events that are coming through. One, I saw multiple soldiers on the street. People just started walking outside of their front doors and just saw tanks and trucks of just soldiers just everywhere. Another event that I saw in my vision was firestones and brimstones just falling out of the sky. I saw red parachutes coming out of the sky. I saw children that appeared to be 5 years old coming out of the sky with red parachutes. Americans were so intrigued by it. It's like they were shining their cameras up at the sky and so intrigued, like, wow, look at these children. This is so cool. And as the children got closer to the people, the children began to kick the people in faces, kick their phones away from them. Immediately after that, I saw the next age group, which was teenagers. Then I saw the next age group coming down, which is in their 20s. Then after that, I saw another age group coming down, which is in their 50s. And then after that, I saw super ninjas coming down that were in their 80s. Many of them are 100 years old and over. I saw them coming out of the sky to fall upon American lands to begin to run rush hour on the American people. America and the people in America are going to have to experience the same exact thing that we turned a blind eye to when we saw the pictures, the children that were starving from famine. We watched the movies of I Am Legend. We saw the droughts in Africa. What the Spirit of the Lord was showing me is that many people talk about conscious co creation and affirmations and visions, but even just speaking about such events or even watching movies, and every single movie that you watch right now, you'll realize that we've already walked through these times, but we've also been speaking these very events into existence. This being set right now for the Antichrist. And if you're not living or walking or in love with God, you are helping to set that stage. You are a strong part of helping to set that stage. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. We're in a place right now where a lot of people did not prepare for this food shortage. So because they did not prepare for the food shortage, their first thing in mind is that they're coming to your house. They're coming to where you're at. If you are a prepper and you're prepping your food supplies on the internet and you're going public about it, y'all, no. Please do not, for video likes, post any of your prepping items and show people your pantry. Please, trust me, somebody knows you and somebody is not caring at all. You're just making yourself a target when you do that. So there's no reason to be trying to show anybody what you have. You guys will hear me talk about I've been doing this since I was 8 years old, but you will never even know what if I even have anything unless you took my classes. And even if you took my classes for disaster prep, you still don't know what I have. So we're in a space right now, y'all, where if you can do the best you can. I know a lot of people are running to the Dollar Tree to get those dollar cans, but don't do that. Go to Aldi's or one of those little mom and pop shops, especially those. One thing that I know about the Mexican stores for sure, y'all, is that the Mexican stores, they did a statistics on the Mexican stores. The Mexican stores and the Hispanics are the only race and breed of people that prepared for the food pandemic. So they grew their own crops, they're growing their own crops. But even with the crops they're growing, their crops have become lifeless, their crops have become dead. But they were the only group of people who have preserved food so much to where their stores will outlive any of your modern day name brand stores. So if you're still looking for items, like for example, if you're looking for canned foods, it would be very wise for you to still attend one of the small, Hispanic stores or your local grocery stores that's not a name brand, or even a Walmart or something like that, because they still have some of their cans. Now, Walmart's gone up crazy, but you can go to another store and check and see. But they still have cans out there that are for 50 cents. They still have cans out there for 80 cents. The only challenge with that now is that the cans that they're bringing out the cans again that are boiled. So many of the cans that many of y'all think that you're stockpiling have already been, the dates are already expired on them. So now they're bringing those cans out to, you know, fill the shelves up. What the Spirit was showing in my vision is that many of y'all are going to open up a lot of later on in towards the crisis or the pandemic when it gets worse, bad, and you're going to realize that a lot of things that you had that can of snap peas or something, when you open up the can, you're going to realize that those were not peas in there. Many of them, I don't know, they're stuffed type of artificial something. But it feels good for me in a space where I'm constantly, before it gets to the time where we are living out, the book of Daniel. And the book of Daniel is strongly going into spiritual warfare and fasting. If you're still questioning, what do I do? Where do I go? Who's going to be here for me? Who's going to be by my side? The only reason you're having those questions is because you're not asking God, getting as close as you can to God. And even if you have people around you who claim that they love God, because there's a lot of that around right now, the way that you will know the difference, there's one thing that you must always remember, okay? Because this is going to be very important for y'all as you go further into the Battle of Armageddon. If you really want to know if the group of people that you're with is in that group because they're claiming that they love God and they really do, the way that you will know it is because you will know them by their fruit. What is their fruit? The main fruit of God's people is praise and worship. We love to praise and worship God. Friends hate it. They can't stand it when you praise and worship God, especially when you speak in tongues, when you speak in your heavenly language. Now, I will say this, be mindful because a lot of y'all going to end up having to face, well, actually, all of us, we're going to face demons. We face them every day. We're going to face some real ugly ones pretty soon. What's going to help you is speaking in your heavenly language. Now, I will say this, the devil knows God's language also. So it's going to be very important for you to switch up on him. You're both standing there in a verbal altercation of spiritual warfare in heavenly tongues and languages. But what really breaks the enemy's tongue and stops him in his track, if you just stop right there, start praising God, somebody's going to remember. You're going to save your life when that happens. Trust me, I know. I had to use it a few times, not just once, a few times. And I'm telling you, praise is demon. We also have demon spray. That's highly anointed demon spray. You can look in the description box below. I'll tell you how to do that. But more likely, what my goal is here is to teach y'all to know that you are the demon spray. But you have to be willing to face your devices, your habits that you think no one can see that you're doing. You have to be willing to put down any crutches that causes you to check local news every morning to see how much time you have left. Many people really do feel that they have time left. But Thanksgiving and the Christmas, this holiday season, a lot of people are eating and drinking and being merry. They don't see the food shortage in front of us. They don't see the water shortage, and they definitely have no clue. And they're in denial that any second Russia and China will come against America. Now, what's even deeper about that, with everyone else in denial, the Spirit of God was showing me that these people are in denial because He has placed scales over their eyes because of them wanting to be like Lot's wife. They have turned back. They're looking for their statuses, their lives, their material wealth, their material gains, who it is that people praise and worship them for. But I wanted to chime in to give y'all that message because it's important right now that y'all paying attention. It's important that you're not distracted right now. It's important that if you need to, you just don't deal with no one. You change your number, cut your number off. It's that vital. Don't, what do you have a phone for? What do you need a phone for? Is it just distracting you? If it's distracting you, hopefully your distraction comes from a place where if you have to look at your phone, start splitting up your social media time with your research time because you have a walk-in library in your pocket. So begin to take your phone out and app called Picture This. Snap pictures of the trees that are around you so you can see what it is that you can eat, what it is that you can use as medicine. Now, I will say foraging is going to be very important. Foraging is when you go get a plant or a fruit or a vegetable and you take it like from the mountains or the woods or the grocery store and you take it and you plant it in your own environment. Now, because of the importance of the weather, it's going to get super cold outside, point to where your plants and your vegetations are going to die off. But from what the Spirit of the Lord is showing me is that many of y'all don't know that you can use rice and you can use beans as seeds. Those are seeds. So you can use that and wheat. When you get flour, don't just buy flour, buy like flax seeds, seeds that can make an entire crop of flour, that can make an entire crop of bread. Now, I'm going to do as much as I can to come and give y'all as many insights as what it is that you're stepping into because you are going to have to live off grid. I'm completely off grid, except for the fact that we have our cell phones here with us. but that's still off grid. And we still have other means of communication if we have no access to our cell phones at all. And I think it's important that y'all know the shock to your system that it's going to be as you begin to pull yourself more and more away from electricity, from your cell phones, from your social medias. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a separate video for that to make sure I don't mix up the energies. But I'm going to end it there. And I'll see y'all later and be another video, because God is truly God in my life, and God has truly placed me in a position to now be before you to make sure that I am channel duck, to make sure that I do give y'all this message from the throne of grace. And for all y'all, I don't even get to read the messages. For everyone who's giving me a happy birthday message, yes, my birthday is 2, and it's just another day to me, y'all. It's just another day, because I dedicate my birthday to my mother who gave birth to me, because it's her birthday. But I dedicate my entire solar return to God Almighty, because that's the only reason I'm still here. That's the only reason that I'm living. That's the only reason why I volunteered to not only be here on earth at this time, but that's the only reason why when I went to Budapest and I went to Greece, and when we had a place in Greece to stay and in Budapest to stay, I still came back to America. Was it ludicrous? Yes. But that's what true soldiers do. No soldiers left behind. So I came here in the midst of America, still going down as the watchman that I am, because we don't get to run. If you know of any governmental system sparked or popped off a war, what do? They go drop off their soldiers right smack in the middle of the war. So that's what God has done here. He has placed me in a position and placed all of us in a position to humbly be able to come before his throne of grace and ask him to protect us in this hour. One more thing I was seeing in my vision, and I'm going to jump off, was I saw the remnant. I saw God's children going through what the world is getting ready to go through. And because of the severity of that, I'm going to separate that video. I love y'all. I'm going to tell y'all in another video what happens with that. Because it's not, y'all going to be very afraid when it comes to your remnant. I'm going to just tell you a real can't. It's going to look like the remnant, it's going to look like God has abandoned you with what is getting ready to happen. It's going to look like you're going exactly through the same thing else is going through. But I am seeing that God is going to show up on your behalf. And I'll go further into another video how he's going to do that, how he's going to break it down, what he showed me in a vision, how this is going to come about. All right? Thank you for telling me happy birthday. I love y'all. And most importantly, just do what you can to get ready. All right? Just get ready with your relationship with God. Don't worry about who's said what rumor, what happened. Remember, you were told we were here wars and rumors of wars. But this is only the beginning of birth pains. So, yeah. I love y'all. Be safe. Peace.